Alright then, this is not a motivational video, it's not encouragement, and this is definitely not me trying to pump you up. This is a head-on confrontation, and if you're honest with yourself, you already know that's exactly what you need, else you wouldn't have clicked on this video in the first place today. The algorithm wouldn't have blessed you because you're not confused, you're not broken, you're not missing information, you're just sabotaging yourself, quietly, intelligently, convincingly. And the most dangerous part in this is you look fine on the outside. That's the problem with the self-sabotage, because you still get up, work, pay bills, train sometimes. You've probably read the books, watched the podcasts. You can talk the language of self-improvement, but you're not living it because you pull yourself back and self-sabotaged, which means the best thing possible is that nobody's coming to save you. And that's exactly why this keeps on going. But I'm going to give you the steps on how to break down the self-sabotage today, because let's strip away the lie first. Self-sabotage is not you being lazy, because lazy people don't feel the guilt. Lazy people don't lie awake at night replaying what they should have done, what they could have done. Lazy people don't feel that low-level tension in their chest all day. You do, because self-sabotage is what capable men do when they're afraid of the proof of who they really are when all the excuses are removed. Because right now, you're living in a comfortable middle ground because you're not failing badly enough to be forced to make a change, but you're not also winning enough to feel proud about yourself and excited about life. So guess what? You're sitting in limbo, comfortable limbo, and you protect that with all the limbo stories that I've just had a busy few months, life's been hectic. Once things calm down, I'll lock in. I know what I need to do, I just need to execute. I'm still figuring things out, waiting for the perfect plan. Do you know what the worst bit is? All of that sounds so reasonable, and that's exactly why it works in self-sabotaging yourself. Because it's still avoidance. Because the moment you commit properly, fully, with standards, there's nowhere left to hide. No more, I could have been great if. No more, I didn't really try, else I could have smashed it. No more ego protection, just results, or the lack of them. And that's exactly what you're actually avoiding, which is the worst bit, because you know if you're fully locked in, there's no limits to what you can achieve. And that's the real reason that you sabotage yourself, because here's the truth that most people won't say out loud, but I actually care about your growth. You don't sabotage yourself because you hate yourself. You sabotage yourself because you're staying half committed, protects your identity. And as long as you never go all in, you never have to find out whether you're actually as capable as you believe you are, as the world thinks you are, as capable as you tell other people that you are. So the hope stays alive, potential stays intact, and that fantasy version of you up here stays untouched. But hope without action rots away your self-esteem. And over time, that rot turns into shame, not loud shame, quiet shame. The kind that shows up as irritation, anxiety, overwhelm, numbness, as drinking a bit more than you should, as getting on the packet, as scrolling away your life when you said you wouldn't, and saying that you're going to start again on Monday, every Monday, because that's not a discipline problem. That's self-betrayal. And your nervous system knows it in here and in here. And that's why you feel on edge, even when nothing's actually wrong. And I know you can relate, because I still get these feelings time to time. But here's exactly why comfort is killing you slowly, because nothing dramatic's happening in your life. And that's exactly the problem. There is no crisis, no rock bottom, no fire under your feet. Just enough comfort to help you tolerate your own dissatisfaction. Just enough distraction to help you avoid the mirror. And this is how so many capable men lose years of their life. Not by blowing their lives up and ruining everything, but by slowly lowering their standards. So you stop training properly, you stop eating with intent, you stop doing the hard things, you stop looking after your mind, and you start negotiating with your lower self. And every negotiation weakens your self-trust and your self-image until one day you don't believe your own promises anymore. And that's the most dangerous situation a man can get in. And at that point, motivation becomes irrelevant, because you don't need hype, you need some structure, daily structure. Because motivation is the excuse that you all hide behind. You tell yourself that you need to feel ready, to feel good, but you don't. You tell yourself that you need more clarity, but I promise you don't. You tell yourself that you're going to get started once you've got the right plan, but you don't. And you won't. You've proved that. You already know the next right action that will move you forward. You just don't want to do it when it's inconvenient or it doesn't feel optimal. So you just wait for that sugar rush of motivation, which is perfect, because motivation never arrives on schedule. And when it does, it doesn't last. That gives you the permission to stay the same while feeling kind of intelligent about it. But understand this clearly. Every day you delay it, you're not staying neutral. You're reinforcing the identity of a man who doesn't follow through on what he says he's going to. And that compounds in a downward spiral, just like discipline compounds in an upward spiral. Because identity comes before behaviour. You keep trying to fix your behaviour without ever touching the identity. And that's exactly why it doesn't last. You don't act in alignment with your goals. You act in alignment with who you believe you are. And that's the power of subconscious programming. But anyway, right now, whether you admit it or not, you see yourself as someone who starts strong and fades out. So you make that a self-fulfilling prophecy. Someone who knows better but doesn't always do better. Someone who will get there eventually. So every time you skip that workout or reading that book or doing that journaling, or you have some alcohol when you said you wouldn't, or get on the sniff or avoid that hard conversation, you're casting a vote for that weaker version of your identity. And then you wonder why your confidence doesn't grow. And not only doesn't grow, it's actually shrinking, because confidence is evidence-based. No evidence, no confidence. It's as simple as that. Because self-sabotage is predictable. It's not mysterious. So let me make this painfully clear. Your self-sabotage follows patterns. You self-sabotage yourself when you're tired, stressed, bored, when you've had a small win, or when nobody's watching, which means that it's not random. It's just unstructured. So you rely on your mood instead of relying on daily non-negotiable rules. High performers don't rely on how they feel. They rely on systems that remove decision making. And that's the difference. That's what makes the difference over the short, the medium and the long term. But here's the shift that will change everything for you. Because the men that I work with don't transform because they get more motivated. Because like I say, motivation comes and goes. They transform because we remove the escape routes. We stop asking, oh, do you feel like it today? And we start asking, what are the non-negotiable actions I need to do today to keep the momentum building? And we build days that work even when the energy is low and we don't feel right. Training that clears the mind, not punishes the body. Movement that discharges stress instead of adding more pressure. Simple rules around sleep, food, alcohol, and most importantly, effort. Daily non-negotiables that don't change based on your mood. Consistency over intensity. That's how self-trust is built and rebuilt. Not with speeches, not with reps. And this is the same free system that I use with all my private clients, by the way. It's nothing flashy, nothing sexy, just structure that works in real life. But I'll come back to that. But if you want that, the link's in the description. It's a free download, the Become Unfuckable Blueprint, the system that I use for myself and my private clients. But here's the cost of staying where you are. Let's talk about the cost. And I don't mean money. I mean something more valuable than that, time. Because every year you stay half committed. You lose more belief in yourself. You become harder to motivate, more cynical, more numb. You start calling discipline extreme, and you start resenting men who actually follow through on what their goals are. You start pretending that you don't care when you really do. That's the slow death of potential, and deep down you know it. You wouldn't have got this far in this video if it wasn't resonating. That's why content like this hits a nerve and you feel it in your chest and in your head. Because the worst and the best thing is you don't need a new personality, and this is important. You don't need to become somebody else. You don't need to completely reinvent yourself. You just need to stop betraying yourself in these small ways. That's it. And then compound that over the days, weeks and months. Because most men don't rise because they add something. They rise because they remove the behaviours that are leaking energy and momentum. Alcohol used as stress relief. Late night scrolling with no upside. Overthinking instead of doing or journaling or meditating. Inconsistent training. No structure on bad days. Remove those leaks. Everything will improve faster than you expect or even realise it can. Because here's the lie of, I'll start properly soon. Soon is the most dangerous word in your vocabulary, because soon keeps you safe. Soon keeps you untested. Soon keeps your identity intact. But soon never arrives. There's only today. And today doesn't need to be perfect. It needs to be disciplined. Like today I've not felt great. I've still ticked off all my daily non-negotiables so the momentum keeps going. But here's what discipline actually is. It's not intensity. Discipline is not suffering, despite what they say. Discipline is keeping promises when nobody's watching. And that's exactly why it builds self-respect. You don't rise to your levels of your goals. You sink to the levels of your standards, your habits and your daily actions. And right now, your standards are negotiable. And that's exactly why your results are inconsistent. You have little bursts of progress and then you fall back to where your baseline is. That's where most men miss it. They wait for confidence before acting. But confidence comes after action, consistent action that creates results and increases confidence. They wait for clarity before starting, but clarity comes from movement. So they wait to feel different. You feel different after doing different. There is no other order. So if this is landing, here's the next step for you. If this feels uncomfortable and what I'm saying has made you feel a little bit off, then good. That's not fear, that's recognition. Because you see yourself in this because it's so accurate. And I know it is, because it was true for me and so many of the clients that I work with. You don't need another video, you need a system. And I've put together the exact free system that I use with my private clients to rebuild the discipline, structure, and their self-trust. It's not motivational, it's practical and it works. You can either get it by commenting the word blueprint or click the links in the description of this video and it's there for you to download. If you already know you need direct accountability and you're done circling around, you can also book a power hour breakthrough call with me where we'll go deep on what's holding you back and what actions you need to do to move you forward. That's for the men who are ready to stop talking and start changing. Because let me just touch on this point again before I leave you. You are not lazy. You are hiding from proof, from accountability, from the version of you that doesn't get to use excuses anymore. Staying where you are feels safe because you're used to it, but it's costing you your self-respect and it's also costing you your love for life. And that cost just compounds over the days, the weeks, the months, the years. You've got to decide what kind of man you're willing to be when nobody's clapping for you, because that's who you actually are. The rest of it's just noise. So I'll see you in the next video. But like I always say, don't bother clicking on the next video if you're not going to click on the links in the description and get the free system I use with all my clients. Get the free system that I use in my life every single day. It's simple, step by step, and it's proven to work. Let's fucking go.